It wasn't pretty. At some points, it was downright ugly. It's so ugly, it's ugly. But the Vikings are 4-1, getting it done, leading the NFC North Division. And we have some thoughts on some of the post-game media availability thoughts on Kevin O'Connell, as well as a couple of random players. So first up, Will Raggett, Sports Illustrated. Kevin O'Connell, our team continues to show levels of grit and resiliency that should bode well for us. And we've said, there's a difference between, say, you see this in college a lot, where a team wins every single game by 35 points, but then they're tested late in a game. Maybe they get punched in the mouth, maybe they get down, and they can't come back. It's a tale as old as time, and the fact that the Vikings have been in three legitimate street fights over the last 3 games against the Lions, the Saints, and the Bears, maybe they shouldn't have been in those fights, but they were. And it is what it is, and they found a way to win all 3. I think that's important because there's going to be games later in the season and into the playoffs and also the Super Bowl where, hey, things aren't always going to go your way. You're not going to win by 40. Guess what? You're down. Guess what? Opportunities. The ball's not bouncing your way. The refs aren't giving you calls. The other team just showed up better than you did. But finding a way to get up off the canvas and fight and scrap and not quit, it's really important, man. Will Raggett continues. Kevin O'Connell, 12 of 13 on third down for the day, and our quarterback deserves a lot of credit for that, including, was it 4 or 5? On the final 75-yard touchdown drive. Just big-time cojones, just really getting after it. Love me some. Even though statistically, black and white stats, this wasn't one of Kirk's best games, grit-wise, I mean, this absolutely was. That was probably the best drive of Kirk Cousins' career, the 75-yard, 17-play touchdown drive to put the Vikings ahead, as well as the 2-point conversion. Vikings coach provided an injury update on Ty Chandler, Caleb Evans, and Lewis Seaton. So Ty Chandler, active for only a second game, broke a thumb on special teams. He's going to be out for a while. Caleb Evans, who recovered that onside kick, is going to be in concussion protocol. And Lewis Seaton, yes, he returned to the United States on Saturday. Hopefully he's going to be back at the facility and potentially even attending a couple games here in the near future. And then, Ekstrom, Cameron Dantzler on his game-winning strip of Ihmir Smith-Marsette. We kind of had intel that he'd be loose with the ball. Reveal your sources. How did you know that Ihmir Smith-Marsette was going to be loose with the ball at times? Or is it the fact that you practice against ISM every single day for the last 2 years? It's one of those spots. Sean Borman, Kevin O'Connell on Cameron Dantzler's recent play, quote, I just think Cam's a good player and just keep telling him to be confident in his abilities. He's been great in the run game, making tackles. I'm proud of the way Cam played today. That's why I gave him a game ball. And also Thomason pointed out that 2 or 3 times a week, Dantzler and Patrick Peterson have gotten together to watch film. And I think it's fantastic that Peterson is taking on that mentor role in year 2 yet again. Yeah, he did it last year. And Dantzler just absorbing everything. And he's got the physical tools. He's got the talent. He's got length on the outside. I think that he is really rounding into form and becoming a fantastic cornerback in the National Football League in year 3. Thomason, Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins says we need to play 4 quarters, and that's been the frustrating thing is that outside of the Packers game, the Vikings have played well for 2 quarters against the Lions, probably say about 2 quarters against the Saints, and you could probably say 2 quarters against the Bears, man, maybe a little bit more against the Bears, but they haven't put together a 4-quarter game in all 3 phases yet, and that should be both intriguing as well as promising, and also a little bit frustrating and maddening. Thomason, Kirk Cousins on 3-0 starting NFC North, all games at home. It's a great start, but we got to build on it. Yes, you're 3-0 in division, great start, but all 3 of those games are at home. You go to Detroit, you go to the Greasy Grime Green Bay Packers, and then you finish up against the crooked Chicago Bears. So, yes, 3-0 to start out things in division is fantastic. 4-1 start is great as well, but you got to go home and take things on the road weeks 14, 17, 18, respectively. Then, continuing on. Will Raggett's Harrison Smith. Now, Harrison makes a very cogent point here that a lot of fans need to realize. He said this, quote, if you can learn while you're winning, that's pretty awesome. It doesn't happen all the time. I think that kind of shows you how good we can be. We're just scratching the surface. And I understand a lot of Vikings fans are pissed off because, well, the Bears game shouldn't have been that close. The Lions game shouldn't have been that close. Saints game should have been that close. Yeah, they shouldn't have been, but they were, and the Vikings found a way to win. And that's the steps. You lose close games, that you should win. You win close games that maybe you should lose. Then those close games don't become close anymore, and you start winning convincingly. Like, those are the steps. The Vikings are currently at this step, man. So they're getting it done. And also, take a step back. You have a team with a new GM, a new head coach, first-time head coach. He's only been head coach for 5 games so far. New offensive scheme, new defensive scheme, as well as new special teams coordinator. You've overhauled the entire coaching staff except for one guy, Keenan McCardle. So, yeah, there are some changes afoot. And the fact that you're 4-1, that isn't something that you should be bitching about. You should be celebrating that, man. The fact that the Vikings are doing this while rebooting the system, I mean, absolutely. Plus, think of how scary this offense will be at the end of the season. Think how good this defense can be once that offense gets clicking and they're able to play downhill like they're designed to do. It's fantastic, man. Then Kevin Seifert, if nothing else, Kevin Seifert, who's not Carl Gerbschman, if nothing else, Kevin O'Connell said the Vikings should be confident that they can win a hard-fought game at the end. As for the lulls they've experienced, I need to do better for our team to make sure I can help. But inevitably, they are going to happen in the league where it's very rare that you just have a beatdown from start to finish. Like, this is not college football. The talent gap is like this. Even with injuries, even with this, that, or the other thing, it's like this, man. It's very hard to win a game in the National Football League. Now, Kevin O'Connell at Dontel making halftime adjustments. Yes, that does need to happen. They need to start out faster in the third quarter, and it's been an issue the entire season. But guess what? We're picking nits. Vikings got to win. A hard-fought in-division win against the crooked Chicago Bears, who gave it everything they had. Same thing with the Lions. And then also they beat the Saints at a neutral site game. So sort of it is what it is. But, hey, you know what? 4-1, getting it done. And like Harrison Smith said, they're just scratching the surface on how good this team can be. And you have a very winnable game down in Miami next week. They're being bit by the injury bug, but it'll probably be a near-run thing as always. So you could potentially head into the bye week at 5-1. You have a chance to get healthy. And then you got the Cardinals at home. You're at the Commies, winnable game. You're at the Bills. That one's going to be tough. But then 5 out of your next 6 games are at home. Cowboys, Patriots, Jets, Colts, Giants at home. You're at the Lions, which is going to be tough. At the Packers, at the Bears. I mean, division games are always close, taken on the road, but the Vikings have a chance to become a fully invested, fully complete team, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Absolutely. But your thoughts are thoughts. Our reaction to the Vikings post-game media availability. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Won't support the work. Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.